Tell you a little bit about the instrument if you're curious. How many people would be interested? Yeah. Did you raise your hand? You know what this is. You just want to know more? Okay. You can see this. Anyways, the Chapman stick, Paul said a while ago, if you were paying attention, and the Chapman actually refers to a family, originally Emma Chapman, the inventor, who was also a native of LA. But he was a jazz guitar player playing around the jazz clubs in the same area Paul was just talking about in the 60s. And he was very interested in improvisation, but he wanted to not only be able to improvise a melody, but also the chords and the chord structure underneath it and be able to change everything. More the way a jazz piano player would do, or in his mind he said he wanted to crossbreed jazz piano and Jimi Hendrix. It was kind of his frustration. And so he was making guitars for himself. He'd gotten up to having like a 9-string guitar that had like a wild string on it where he could like move a lever and bend it to crazy pitches, and he was playing with like baby combs as picks and just doing all kinds of things. But in 1969, August, I think it's like 25th, the family always remembers the exact moment, he was practicing at home and he realized, wait a minute, like why don't I just use my right hand, my pick hand, to play notes? And he is the first person we know of to actually use both hands as equal partners perpendicular to the strings. There were some guys on old videos before him poking one finger at a time in Italy on Italian TV. I've seen a video. But Emmett was the first person to really use a sort of piano technique on a guitar type instrument. And so he set about making instruments for the technique and had his first production run of the stick in 1974. I think they made like 10 in the first batch. Now his daughter runs the shop, Grace Chapman. And she told me recently she thinks, I'm not quite sure, she thinks they've made about 8,000 instruments out of their house now since 74 or so. So one of the few instruments invented in the US, I think we claim this in like the banjo. So take your pick, I won't be offended. And anyways, that's the brief history of the Chapman stick. This particular one is 12 strings, 6 up here in a guitar range, and 6 here that start in a bass range and go into a guitar range. So they go low to high out from the middle. And the real secret to how it works is just the strings are very low to the board, so you don't have to hit them too hard to get them to sound. But I'm going to do a solo piece for you, an original, and this is something of mine called Waking the Day, conveniently available back in the lobby after the show if you'd like. But this is Waking the Day.